two things. Fame is there are elements of fame that is nice for the ego, right? You get free stuff. People get a lot of free stuff, which is weird. People come up and say stuff. There is a downside. I had people threatening my kids. I had people messaging me on Twitter saying, I'm going to kill your kids. Well, that's not very nice. And also fame is empty. It's very, very empty. And all it does is fuel the ego. It's like cocaine, right? For the start, you get kind of a nice feeling, but actually it's horrible and it's empty and it's destructive. And one final thing, you mentioned the word relevance. What does that mean, right? A lot of people think relevance means being on the telly and having, a lot of numbers on TikTok, right? But people say, you're not relevant. I've got more followers on TikTok. Well, that's an odd way of measuring relevancy. I am relevant to the people who care, right? Relevant to my kids, to my stepkids, to my partner. That's it. That's relevant. I'm not, hosting the one show. I'm not on GB News, for goodness sakes. That's not relevancy.
So there's a few elements to this, and I want to kind of pick your brains a little bit more about fame, but I will say I'm completely there with you. The things that really matter in life, family, friends, like that's always going to be more important and should be more important. But there's also this weird thing of like status. So, for instance, I've been acting since 2019. But the one question I'll always get is, "Oh, is there anything I'd know you from? Are you famous?" And it's like, well, A, obviously fucking not. B, I've done a lot. I'm very proud of what I've done, personally. I mean, I've been involved in some bigger projects, but to me, it's like you can be involved in a big project and not have a significant role, but then it's relative. Like, I'm not trying to become some star. I'm trying to build a career in like creative endeavors. And I'm grateful for any and all opportunities. That's the way my mind works. The people I look up to, like career actors or career musicians, they are invested in what they're doing. Even if they become a success, they're still trying to master their craft as much as possible. It's the reason I was so excited to have you on the show, amongst other reasons, is like, wow, a professional broadcaster. Like, I've been doing this 5 years and, I've become like a podcast veteran, I guess you could say. Broadcasting, I understand it's a totally different behemoth and it requires different things from you, and there's a certain way that you approach it, and depending on what type of radio you're doing or type of broadcasting you're doing, you have to adjust it a little bit. I mean, you mentioned before the 11 o'clock show required a certain thing from you, and it was a character, etc. But then you're moving into radio and it's like, okay, whether it's LBC or whether it's like a BBC thing, like there's different requirements they might ask you, or there might just be that unwritten kind of expectation. I get it sometimes with acting where I get like basically nothing to go on and I try to figure something out and then the director's like, no, actually it's this. I'm like, oh, okay, well that's totally different from what I had in mind. But like bringing it back to the point, like there's a lot of focus on status, relevancy, I think because that's what the average person thinks is important, and it's just not realistic. Like, for example, if you want to talk numbers, I've got 2 TikTok channels. It just feels stupid talking about this, but one of them has 28,000 followers, the other one has like 9,000. Now, of that, I'm lucky if maybe like 10 people are actively engaged. And like, that's the thing you've really got to pay attention to is your audience, like the people that are invested, like that have been following you, say, for years, not people scrolling on a fucking app. Like are they going to pay your bills? Are they going to be invested in you? No,